Let's bring in John Rinkenbaugh. He is a former journalist and a business owner in Fort Myers. He has decided not to evacuate, and he joins us on the phone. So, John, tell us why you decided to ride this storm out.
It was just a matter of timing. I had a business that I had to get, taken care of, and then it was the house. I'm here by myself. Unfortunately, or fortunately, my wife is in Europe, so I was kind of on my own. And so it just came to the point where I felt it was too dangerous last night to get out on the road and head to Orlando. If something were to happen in my vehicle, I feared for my safety. And my house has been through a couple of hurricanes before, so I felt like I could get through this.
Okay, John, I understand that you are not a native Floridian, and of course Florida faces hurricanes every year around this time, although this is a big one. You're from Kansas. Does that give you greater apprehension as you ride this out?
Well, I was executive producer at the local CBS station when Hurricane Charlie went through, so this isn't my first rodeo. I will say that my anxiety levels have been off the charts since Sunday. So I know how dangerous and just how frightening one of these storms can be. I haven't taken any of this lightly, but it's just part of living in paradise. And I'd rather take tornadoes in Kansas anytime over a hurricane like this.
Although there are tornadoes associated with this storm too. There are tornado warnings in several counties. Well,
these are small. You got to remember, these are little small tornadoes. I mean, yeah, they could do roof damage, but the thought that it could take your roof off or something like that, it's not very likely. But it is part of it. And when Charlie came through here, there was a lot of tornado damage just to the west of my home. So I know it can happen. I'm hopeful that it won't happen.
John, it is interesting to be talking to you because as a former journalist, you can bring a perspective because you're not employed by a station anymore for our viewers. And so that's a question that we've been bantering with back and forth, Stephanie and I. As you just indicated, for the folks who live in Florida, hurricanes are nothing new. People have been living with them for hundreds of years. Is it, though, your sense that because of the amount of coverage that Hurricane Harvey rightfully received, the devastation that Hurricane Harvey brought onto Texas, that perhaps people decided to make decisions in the case of Hurricane Irma that they perhaps would not have made had we not just come off a week of devastation in Texas?
I think there is a factor with Harvey, but honestly, the bigger factor for most folks is Charlie and Wilma. Those scars, even though it's been over a decade for both of those storms, those scars still run very, very deep in this community. And so for folks who've been around here a long time, and I have a lot of friends here who made the decision to evacuate, who went through those storms. But yes, Harvey definitely. I mean, even for me personally, that's been in the back of my mind. And when they start talking about the high waters that we'll see once this storm gets north of us and starts pushing the Gulf back up into our community, it's going to be amazing because I'm watching pictures right now, and the winds are coming out of the northeast, and it's pushing the water out into the Gulf. And so areas that would normally have water, along the shore, there's no water. You see beach. It's incredible.
Let's talk about that storm surge and where you are located in Fort Myers. Are you in an area where you're concerned about flooding for your business or for your home?
I am concerned that I am going to lose my business because my business sits less than a mile away from the Caloosahatchee River.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so but that's just, that it is what it is. My home is much farther inland. I will probably have flooding here, but I don't think it's going to be devastating flooding. Maybe a little water in my garage. I did take the precautions to sandbag my door, and I have more sandbags at the ready. When Harvey hit Houston, we were in the middle of a weather crisis here that didn't get really reported on much. We had a huge tropical system that dumped a ton of rain on us, and it flooded my neighborhood and caused major damage to the south of us. So we're saturated, and this extra rain we're getting from this storm is just going to cause really bad flooding problems in parts of Lee County and southwest Florida.
Do you have insurance for your business?
I have FEMA. I have FEMA insurance, so that's the one good thing. For my business, I do not. And so, if worst comes to worst and my business floods out, it'll be a loss. But I have a small business, and it's not going to break me. And it's just, I'd rather lose the business than lose my life, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it is, as Stephanie points out, that's a very important question because a lot of people along the coast of Florida do not have flood insurance. It's something that we also saw in Texas in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. John, I wonder, of your neighbors and the people in the surrounding area in your community, do you know other people that have also decided to ride it out?
Yes, in fact, it's amazing in my neighborhood. I'd say that at least 2/3 of my neighbors have decided to stay. I was a little surprised I didn't see more people leave. Everybody makes their choices based on how safe and secure they feel, obviously. But I have a lot of neighbors here. I've talked to all of them, so they know I'm here. I know they're here. But it's just part of the personal decisions you have to make. And I'm sure in about 5 or 6 hours, I'm going to be regretting sitting through the storm. But I'll just hunker down. I've got my mattress ready. I've got my bathtub lined with pillows, so I can just pull a mattress over the top of myself.
Yeah.
And hunker down.
John, how long have you lived in Florida?
I moved here in 2003.
Okay, so, this storm, Irma, not as it stands now, but when it was a Hurricane 5 turning out in the Atlantic and started affecting the Eastern Caribbean, this storm was described as an unprecedented hurricane for the Atlantic. It was the largest storm by diameter. It had maximum sustained winds of more than 185 when it was a Cat 5 for more than 48 hours. I just wonder, given that you have a longer lens than some folks, do you feel like these hurricanes and these storms are intensifying and getting worse?
I do. I think that they are a lot worse. I think this has been going on for more than the last decade. We may not see the frequency of hurricanes that we've seen in the past, but I think that when we do have them, because of the conditions are so ripe, the water is so warm out in the Gulf, that when they do spawn, they're a lot stronger. And I think that goes all the way back to Charlie, Katrina, Wilma, all of these storms that we've had. 2004 was an awful year for us because we had so many hurricanes. We had Charlie, Janine, Francis, Ivan. And so I think this is, just symptomatic of what the weather's doing.
All right, John Rinkenbaugh. John, thank you so much for speaking with us. Our thoughts and prayers are certainly with you as this hurricane continues to make its way closer to where you are in Fort Myers. Hopefully we'll be able to check back in with you a little bit later.